So we need to do some definitions. The official definition of a circle is the set of all points on a plane that are equidistant from a given point on the plane called the center. Okay, so we have the center, and then every single point on the circle is the same distance away from the center as all of the other points. Does anybody remember what we call that? Starts with an R. Radius. So the radius is any segment whose endpoints are the center and a point on the circle, right? And the radius can go from the center all the way around, correct? And it's always the same distance. Okay? So we also have, circles also have an equation, or what we call a descriptive or vertex form. Remember, parabolas have a vertex form, right? And we really like vertex form because everything that we need is given to us without any work having to be done. Circles are the same way. The descriptive or vertex form looks like this. X minus h squared. That looks similar to a parabola. Plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So this is very similar to the vertex form of a parabola that we already know. The only thing that's different is now y is also being subtracted by a number, and then that is being squared as well. So the center of my circle is going to be the point h comma k. Okay. Also remember that because the method is subtraction here, that we have to take the opposite. So if this said x minus 3, the x term would be positive or negative 3? Positive. If it said x plus 3, h would be negative. Okay, so we have to take the opposite because the sign is subtraction right here. Okay, and then the radius is what? The radius is r. So in our equation, you are given r squared. So what we will always do is we will take the square root of that number, and that will give us the radius. Okay? And we will be able to graph and sketch all of those things from the equation of the circle. So, example 1. Let me put this up a little bit. Okay, example 1, your instructions are to give the center and radius of the circle, x squared plus y squared equals 36, and then graph it. So we want the center and the radius. That's going to be our answer, and I meant to type that out for you to write your answer, but I must have forgotten. So let's look at this. Our center is given by these points, the points that are being subtracted from x and y. There's nothing here. So do you guys remember a way that we can write it so that there is something there? See how this says x squared, but the standard form says x minus h squared? What can we subtract from x to make it give a placeholder? 0, right? We can rewrite this as x minus 0 squared, right? Isn't that still x squared? Yeah. Plus y minus 0 squared equals 36. So what is my center? 0, 0. What is my radius? This is not the radius, it's radius squared. 6. So r squared equals 36. So to find r, I square root it. So r equals positive 6. So the radius is 6. Okay, how do I use this information to sketch it? I can graph this point. This is my center, so let's put a point there. And then we just want to sketch the graph. So we know that our radius is 6. So what we're going to do is count the radius in all 4 directions so that we have 4 points to make the circle. So from the center, I'm going to go up 6 faces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What other direction can I go?
Right, 6.
Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now 2 points is not enough to sketch the whole circle, so let's do 2 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then let's go left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Does this look like enough points to sketch the circle? Okay, now remember, this is a circle. It's not a diamond. It's not a rounded square diamondy thing. So try and make it as circular as possible when you sketch it. So make sure that you round it out.
Will you mark it wrong if it looks like a diamond?
Yeah, if you draw it with straight lines, yes I will, because it's not a circle. So this is the best I can do. Do the best you can, okay? But you do have to realize that it is a circle, so it does need to be round, okay? Okay, let's try example 2, same thing, really quickly. It is supposed to be equal to 16, not 36, so make that change. So we'll actually be working with a different radius here. Okay, so everything is already set up for me, so what is my center here? Negative. Alright, so here's my equation, x minus 3 squared plus y plus 4 squared equals 16. What is the center there? What's the x-coordinate?
3.
Positive 3. It's the one that's attached to x. What's the y-coordinate?
Negative 4.
Negative 4. We have to take the opposite sign. So positive 3, negative 4 is my center. Okay, 16 is r squared, so r squared equals 16. So what does r equal?
4.
R equals 4. So my radius is 4. Oops. Okay, will you guys sketch that for me, please? Okay, so here's what I got. We did all of the work together. I plotted my center at positive 3, negative 4, and then I counted up 4, down 4, right 4, left 4, because that's my radius, and here's my circle. Yes? We're all good? Okay. So for examples 3, 4, and 5, I give you the equation. What I want you to do is just tell me what the center and the radius is. We don't have to sketch it this time. So let's do example 3 together. What would the center be?
0,
The x-coordinate is 0, and the y-coordinate is? Negative 3. Okay, my r squared is 1 over 25. So I take the square root of both sides. Oh my goodness. Okay, what happens when I take the square root of a fraction? No, it doesn't turn to negative. We can split it up, right? Square root of 1 over square root of 25, which gives me what? 1/5. So the radius is 1 over 5. Okay. Okay, look at example 4 here. I have 2 times x minus 3 squared plus 2 times y squared equals 32. There's some things out here that I don't really want. I have 2's on each of these. What can I do? I can divide everything by 2. So let's divide that guy by 2. Let's divide this guy by 2, and then we have to divide the right-hand side by 2. So we divide everything by 2 to cancel these out. So that's going to make my new equation x minus 3 squared plus y squared equals 32 divided by 2, 16. So what's the center? 3, 0. Good. What's the radius?
4.
Radius is 4. Okay. Will you guys do example 5? I will give you a hint. After you divide, the radius is not going to be a perfect square, so you can just leave the radius as square root of something. Okay? So just simplify the square root. What did you all do first? Divide everything by 4. Good. So that's going to give me x squared plus y plus 3 squared equals 6. So what's the center there? 0, negative 3. Good. Okay, so my radius, or r squared, is equal to 6. So that means I'm going to take the square root of both sides, so r equals what? Just square root 6. Can I simplify that any more than it already is? No, so we can leave it just like that and it's totally fine. Okay? What we're going to do for examples 6, 7, and 8 is the opposite. I'm going to give you the center and the radius, and I want you to write the equation. Okay, this is a lot easier even because all we have to do is plug it all in. Okay, so example 6, let's do that one together. We're going to get, the center is 3, 4, the radius is 6. So that's going to be x minus 3 squared plus y minus 4 squared equals 6 squared. And then we can simplify that 6 squared. The reason why I want you to write it like this, you will see in examples 7 and 8, but I want you to just plug it all in first and then you can simplify. Okay, so you're going to get x minus 3 squared plus y minus 4 squared equals 6 squared is 36. And that's your answer. Okay. Try 7 and 8 by yourselves. Make sure that when you plug in the radius, you put it in parentheses before you square it. Okay? Okay, so example 7. Our x coordinate is 2, so that's going to be x minus 2 squared plus the y coordinate is negative 1, so that's going to make it y what? Plus 1 squared equals square root of 3 squared. None of these simplify anymore, so that's x minus 2 squared plus y plus 1 squared equals, what is the square root of 3 squared? 3, good. So that's your equation for number 7. Yes? Awesome. Okay, example 8. My x coordinate is negative 5, so that's going to be x plus 5 squared plus y coordinate is 0, so that's going to be y minus 0 squared equals 2 root 3 in parentheses squared. Okay, x plus 5 squared stays the same plus y minus 0 squared simplifies to what? Just y squared. Okay, what about 2 root 3 squared? What do I do with the square there? It cancels this part out. What does it do to the 2? It squares the 2. So we have to distribute that squared in, right? So this is the same as 2 root 3. I'm going to do the work off to the side. Squared equals 4 times square root of 3 squared is 3. So 4 times 3 gives me 12. So the whole thing is equal to 12. Oh my gosh, those rules of exponents come back. Alright, the next little bit is going to give us the equation of an original circle, and then it's going to translate it, which means it's going to move the circle to another location on the graph, and what we want to do is write the new equation. Okay, so let's look at example 9. Write the equation of the circle that would result if the circle x squared plus y squared equals 9 is translated 2 units down and 3 units right. Before we get started, I have a question for you. What is being affected here? Is the center being affected? Is the radius being affected? Or are both affected? Center. Just the center, right? The circle's the same, we're just moving it. So the radius stays the same, correct? Okay, so what I suggest that we do here is that we first sketch the original center and then move it the way they tell us to, and that's going to give us the coordinate. So just off to the side, let's just draw a little sketch of a graph. What is the center of the original? 0, 0. So just draw it right there. And then we translated it 2 units down, 1, 2, and 3 units right, 1, 2, 3. So the new center is going to be here. Okay, what's the coordinate of the new center?
-3, 2.
3, -2.
3, -2.
3.
So can we write the new equation using the new center? Yes, we can. What would it be?
X minus 3.
It would be x minus 3 squared plus
Y plus 2 squared.
y plus 2 squared equals 9, because the radius part never changes, right? So what it's equal to is going to stay exactly the same. Yeah? Okay, try example 10 then by yourselves. Okay, what is the center of your original circle?
-3, 2.
-3, +2. So let's graph that first. That would be right here. And we are translating it 1 unit down, so just down 1, and 4 units to the right. So we're going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4. So our new center is at what point?
1, 1.
+1, +1. Okay, so let's write the equation for that. The new equation is going to be x minus 1 squared
Plus y minus 1 squared.
plus y minus 1 squared equals 9. And that's your answer. Sketching it really, really helps. And all you have to do is sketch the center because the radius is staying the same. So it's not going to take you that long, but for me it helps to see where it's moving, and instead of trying to figure it out without actually seeing where it is. Okay? So far so good? Yeah? You guys still with me? Okay, last one. Example 11. Okay, every lesson, I'm pretty sure everyone, for this unit is going to end in a question like this, because what we are going to end up doing is you guys are going to learn 4 different conic sections. Each one has its own unique form and formula, and from the equation you're going to have to be able to figure out which one is which. Okay, right now we've only learned circles and parabolas, or neither one. Can somebody tell me what we know about the equation of a parabola? Do we know anything about it? How could you see an equation and know that it's a parabola?
Y equals.
What's special about it? So, a parabola has an x squared, right? Is the y squared? No. What did you notice about the equation of a circle?
Both are squared.
Both are squared. Okay, so that's what we know so far. Parabolas have just x squared. Circles have x and y squared being added together. That's also very important. Okay, so looking at example 11, we have 4x squared plus y equals 0. Is this a circle, a parabola, or neither one?
Parabola.
It's a parabola. It does not matter that x and y are on the same side. All that matters is that there's an x squared there. Okay, B, y equals 3x plus 2. What is that?
Neither.
Neither one. What is it really?
Line.
It's just a line. Okay, C, 7x squared plus 7y squared equals 63? Circle. How do you know?
Both are squared.
Both are being squared. Okay, that's one way to tell.